Hey, I know you came for Team Fortress 2, but hold tight, we'll be at the end of this video. So quite the buzz is being made in the rail fanning community now that Union Pacific has released their intentions to buy out Norfolk Southern and create the quote-unquote first transcontinental railroad. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. And well, if you know me, then you know that, well, I happen to like trains. So, what's my stance on this? What seems to be the general overview? Well, let's find out. Now, the general overview is, well, two sides. Either you're with this buyout or you're not with this buyout. Let's discuss the people who aren't with this and discuss their reasoning. Well, the main reason why these people don't like this is because of one word: monopoly. The people on this side argue that this will cause a monopoly and Union Pacific is gonna get way too big, as it's gonna be going from fucking Maine all the way down to San Bernardino. And while I can see their reasoning, I personally disagree. And this leads me to the other side of the argument, the people who are in favor of this, with, well, me being a part of it. Let me explain my reasoning. First off, BNSF and CSX are bigger than their rivals, and to me, this just looks like back in the day when Burlington Northern merged with Santa Fe to counteract Union Pacific because it was eating up all the smaller companies, which I kind of see with this. The second reason being the fact that, well, Norfolk Southern just isn't the powerhouse that it used to be. It is without a doubt the weakest out of all the Class 1s in America right now, and the CSX is pretty much outperforming it in every way. The third one mostly is just a nitpick, but for me, it's the fact that Union Pacific doesn't actually run in any of the states that make up the Union. I mean, Christ, fucking Abraham Lincoln founded you guys, and you can't even run in the states that made up the Union in the Civil War? Like, what the hell? Hell, you guys run in the states that were on the side of the Confederacy. What the fuck? Now, while this buyout can be debated by both sides, it actually has to be approved by the STB for it to go through. Norfolk Southern seems on board, probably because it means that somebody else has to handle their garbage railroad. But regardless, it has to be approved by the STB, and whether or not they will can be debated. But what I can say is that if this is to go through, there are some interesting scenarios that can happen because of this. First interesting question: what happens to the heritage units? Because technically Union Pacific now owns all those railroads that Norfolk Southern used to own. So are they going to keep the heritage units, or are they just going to get repainted or something? What about the lesser heritage units, like the Southern GP60 or the Erie Lackawanna SC45? The second thing being, what happens to the Northeastern Corridor and New Jersey Transit? Because Norfolk Southern runs alongside these guys sometimes, so now what happens? Are we just going to see Union Pacific in New Jersey now? It would be a very cursed sight, but you know what? I don't think I'd mind. Next up, what happens to Norfolk Southern's unpatched units? Like, what, do they got a butt ugly yellow patch on them? Like, yeah. Yellow on black is not a good combination. Next up, what's going to be happening to Norfolk Southern's infrastructure? Like, what locomotives are going to be getting scrapped and which ones are going to be getting repainted? Because at this point, I'm not too sure. And lastly, how is the general public going to react? How are the people of, well, the Eastern Coast and New England going to react when all of a sudden their black and white railroad is replaced with Union Pacific? It could also be very interesting because what the hell is going to happen to the Norfolk Southern social media? Are they just going to be merged into the Union Pacific one? I think another one that's also very interesting is the fact that, well, both Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific stocks aren't doing the best right now, so could this buyout perhaps raise it? How will other companies react? What will the response be from BNSF, Canadian Pacific, Kansas City, and CSX? And most importantly, how the fuck is the government going to react to this? Because last I checked, Mr. Donny Boy somewhat was invested in railroading in the form of Amtrak, and if this gets approved, Union Pacific is going to be running alongside it, but I don't really know. I think the last thing I have to ponder here is what direction is this buyout going to take? Because this isn't a merger, to be clear. This is not a merger. That is a misconception. This is not a merger. This is a buyout. So, what is this going to look like? Is this going to be Penn Central, where it's quote-unquote too big to fail, but then it crashes, and then the government is forced to step in and make another unionized railroad like Conrail? Or will this go over smoothly, and we're going to have another massive railroad on the scale of, well, Transcontinental Railroad. And well, before I end this, I want to ask you guys something. What do you think about this buyout? How do you think it will impact America? What do you think will be the result of this? Hell, do you think it's actually going to be approved? Only time will tell, but I'm interested to hear your guys' voice. And well, oh yeah, by the way, before I end this off, the guy who said that the rail industry is dead in my comment section, screw you. Now, the second portion is, well, me addressing the fact that, well, you probably thought this video was going to be something TF2 related. And, well, there's a reason behind why it isn't, and why the next ones won't be either. The simple word here is hiatus. Working on this video has become more of a drag than it has a fun project, so now I'm averting, well, my focus to other things that I have the motivation for. But rest assured, I'll probably return to this project someday as long as I get the motivation to deal with it. But until then, I'm going to be focusing my attention to other things that, well, I'm more motivated for. But rest assured, there still will be content. And by the way, if we can hit 500 subscribers before the end of 2025, I will be very grateful because I got something very special planned that isn't a Q&A. But hey, stay tuned because I got some good shit planned. And well, hey, one of the projects I put on the back burner is finally going to get rolling again. But until then, see you later.